Coach John Bayuk from Struthers as we continue our football previews. We are so excited, 3 weeks away from football season. Coach, thank you so much for popping in with us today.
No problem, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
I mean, when you look at one of the things we want to start off with is the reflection from last year. And I know every coaching staff kind of takes the film after the season is over and reflects on things that they did well, things that can grow on. What were some of your final analysis of last season, some of the things that you thought you did really well, and some of the things that you think that you can really improve on when you go from last year to this year?
I thought we had a pretty young team last year, and we took a couple hits early on. We went through a pretty good strand of a ringer there with Streetsboro, South Range, and Hubbard, which were three great football teams. And we had some injuries here and there that kind of forced us to put even younger guys in there. So if I'm looking at a positive, a lot of the young guys you're going to see this year for us got plenty of playing time last year, and they've been having a heck of an off season. And we're really excited for this group of kids. This senior group have really busted their butts in the off season, and I'm really excited. Their sophomore year is when COVID hit, and then last year they still got kind of affected by it, and now they're finally having a normal season. So we got a lot of 3-year starters in this senior group, and like I said, this young underclass group we have been just absolutely awesome this off season. So we're banking on last year's experience for these young guys getting under the lights and that transitioning into this football season.
When you look at this roster, you're going to have, like you said, you're going to have a mix of some leaders and some young guys that are coming back with experience. Who are some big names that the Struthers community should watch out for when they're going to a Struthers football game?
We have 4-year starter Chaz Okoniak back. He's going to be on both sides of the ball at receiver and free safety. Alec Grzib stepped in for Dylan Greenwood, our starting quarterback last year when he got hurt in the middle of the season. He's a heck of a receiver. He's an all-league returner. He does everything for us. He punts, he kicks, he's a returner, he's a receiver, he's a quarterback. So he's one of those kids that does everything for us. Tyler Sanchez, our running back, is a 3-year starter. And Brady Clyde, he's going to be anchoring up front for us at center. He started at center last year in defensive end. So the seniors, there's a lot of faces that have been under the lights. And this young group, we have Anthony Carter, who's been a 2-year starter his freshman and sophomore year, first team all-league kid. Really excited for him at strong safety. He also plays running back for us. And Jason Dukes was a freshman last year. He stepped in at free safety towards the end of the year when we needed him to step in. And we think he's going to be real special on the defensive side of the ball as well. So we got a lot of young guys who are going to step in for us. We have Nico Farina, senior, who is also 3-year starter at corner. So we got a lot of guys. Our secondary is pretty much all back, but the defensive and offensive line is where we need to fill some spots.
We know in a football locker room, you need those vocal leaders. You need the people that are going to stand up and speak out with the team. Who do you think are going to be some of the players that really you can lean on for that, and it will be vocal leaders in this locker room?
Our kids voted for captains a few weeks ago, and it was unanimous decision. Brady Clyde, Aiden Isabella, and Chaz Okoniak, they're 3 seniors. We're really going to look to them to be our vocal guys to lead the team on and off the field. So in the community and school, I'm very proud of our team because I think they chose 3 great leaders, and not just vocally, but by action. I'm very excited for them to lead our group this season.
And as a coach, when you kind of look at a kid and you can define whether or not he is leading or he is a good leader, what kind of characteristics do you look for in a leader of your team?
We have a saying here, class always shows. And whether, you're weathering a storm, you're going through a rough patch, or things are great, you won 5 in a row, you need to understand that class always shows. You need to have humility when you win, and you need to be able to get through adversity when you lose. And I think those 3 kids, I think that is the epitome of a leader. You're able to lead your group, your team, whether it's your family, at work, in school. If something's going wrong, you need to lead them through that storm. And if things are going well, you need to keep that balance of, listen, we can just get better. We're not all that. We aren't the best team in the state. We need to keep getting better. And I think those 3 guys portray those qualities of leader very well.
You've been with this program for a while. You've helped to build their identity. When someone asks you what the identity of Struthers football is, what would you hope that your players would say, and then what would you say as well?
We want to be known as number one, the hardest hitting team every week. We want to be physical week in and week out. And even if, we might lose a tough one, we want them to feel that they played Struthers on Saturday morning. I think in high school football, the most physical team usually comes out on top. So we definitely, tell our players that when we enter that field, we're all business. And whether it's practice, whether it's a game, whether it's a scrimmage, we try and be that most physical player that we can. And we really this year our slogan this year is trust the climb, and we really emphasize the us and trust. If we can all trust each other, if each player can do their job, and we can trust each other to do what we're supposed to do as a coaching staff, as a defensive player, as an offense and special teams player, that is the Struthers player we want on the field. If we can trust you and you trust us to put you in the correct position, and you're not worried about yourself, the touchdowns you get, the carries you get, the catches you get, if you are worried about the team, that's the kind of player we want on our Struthers football team.
And every coach knows that's not always the easiest thing to have a kid have that mindset and try to drill that home. I'm sure you've done a lot of things in the off season and in the summer that have built team chemistry and built team trust. What are some things that Struthers program does to kind of build the chemistry and build the trust within the team?
We really emphasize our senior class. We had a senior day this year. We haven't done that before. And we had a college coach come in and a college player come in and talk to them about the importance of being a leader and being a great teammate. And we will continue to have those senior days every year. It was a great day. The coaching staff and the seniors spent the day together. We went out to lunch, and it was just a great bonding moment for the coaching staff and the senior group, because we are going to lean on the seniors every year, whether it's a 20 senior class or it's a 8-person senior class. We really are trying to teach these young men that are close or about 18 years old, that they need to take accountability of their team. And that's one way, and a way we will continue to build that quality leader we want every year in our program.
We're taking a look at your schedule now and the teams that you have looking forward to yourselves in 2022. Start with your non-conference schedule. You got Aquinas to lead off the season, and then you got Geneva and Streetsboro. What kind of goals are you setting as a team during your non-conference schedule to kind of prepare you for this NE8 play?
You know what? Every week get better. So, we're going to enter week one thinking about week one, St. Thomas Aquinas. We're not thinking about anything down the road. I know that's cliche, but our goal every week, we're going to have another young group this year. And our goal is to just get better every week. And if we can get better every week at every position, I think we have a great shot of being successful, making the playoffs, and making a run that our kids, our seniors really feel like they have something to prove. And I'm proud they have a chip on their shoulder like that. So our goal out of conference is to make sure we start week one, and by week three, we're a better football team than we were when we started.
And when you look at this NE8, I think it's the same story every year. There's a lot of really good teams in this league, and you're never going to have any kind of week off with the NE8. What's it like playing in this, and what do you expect from it this year?
I love the league. I think it's a great league. All expectations are always high. We want to be talked about in that top 3 group. Last year everyone was talking about Hubbard and South Range and Poland. We are going to be in that conversation. That's our goal. And like I said, I think it's a great competitive way to get ready for the playoffs. And it's just one of those, like you said, week in and week out, you don't have a break. So it's one of those things where we got to stay healthy, and we got to maintain the goal every week. We can't look forward to South Range. We can't look forward to Girard. We got to focus on who we have that week.
Not every high school team has the benefit of having a conference like this, getting through it, going through it, and playing these teams. How much does it prepare you for postseason?
It's a great preparation, especially having Poland week 10. That's because they're usually in the mix in the playoffs. And it's a great, even even early on. I mean, we're testing ourselves. We scrimmage West Branch and JFK this year, two teams that made great playoff runs. So we're really testing ourselves at the very beginning, and jumping into our conference after Streetsboro, it can't do anything but help us. So I'm glad we're in this league. I think it's a great league, and I hope it continues throughout the years.
Now, as we transition into August, a couple weeks before week one, what are going to be these teams' focus for the month of August and the last couple weeks of practices and scrimmages to be as ready as possible for week one against Aquinas?
Just studying and experiencing, practice the playbook. I mean, that's like I told you, we got, some spots where we are very young. So it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. So these next 2 weeks, we're going to find out how physical we are next week when the pads come on and we start hitting full go. But, right now we're just focusing on, every coach is focusing on their position, getting better and learning what they need to learn before week one gets here.
All right, like we said before, you have been in this position for a little bit. This is you've been in this program for a while. What keeps you coming back? What do you love so much about coaching these guys and coaching at this school?
I told the interview committee when I interviewed with them for this head coaching job that if there's one thing that stands out about me is you won't find anyone that cares more about Struthers kids than I do. Whether it's in school, in my social studies classroom, or it's on the field, or any sport, or anything I'm coaching. I really do truly care about these guys and everyone in that school, and that's what keeps me coming back. Every coach has their reasons to hang it up, or maybe head coaching isn't for them, they want to go back and be an assistant. But coming here every morning and the way these kids work this year, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids. I'm so excited, I'm so happy to be here, and they're the reason I keep getting up every morning. So it's an exciting time this year, and I really think we have a special group.
Not every coach gets to call themselves a teacher of their own kids either. What kind of benefit is it for you to not just see your kids on the field and on the practice field, but also get to see them in the classroom and know what they have going on in that side of their life as well?
I mean, I can't really explain the benefit of being in the building every day here at the high school. I'm able to, interact with the kids if they need help in a class or if they have an issue going on. I'm here to help them out, and they know that. And I have a few coaches in the middle school that are on my staff that help out in the middle school, which is great for the middle school program. It's just a great benefit to they're constantly seeing coaches. And that's really important, especially in football, when we're out here making sure our kids are doing the right thing in the classroom and on the field.
One thing I want to ask, because you said you were a social studies teacher, what's your favorite part of history to teach?
Well, my favorite part of history is the Revolutionary War, but unfortunately I don't get to teach it. But, the kids love World War II. So that's just fun for me because the kids are so engaged in the classroom during World War II. So that's probably my most enjoyable part of American history to teach because they enjoy it so much.
DJ Oakley wants to know how important 7-on-7 scrimmages have become for your program.
You know what? We've actually kind of slowed down on them a little bit. We've had a few this year, but I think it's more of a benefit for our defense, seeing different offenses and getting lined up and those kinds of things. We do have two young quarterbacks this year that they've benefited extremely this year, but I'm not huge into going like to different colleges all day with these 7-on-7s and trophies getting handed out. I'm more of a let's focus on coaching. Let's get a couple kids or a couple teams maybe come to our place or two or three teams at another place. I think you lose out on coaching and teaching your kids when you go to these big 7-on-7s. And we want to slow things down at 7-on-7s, and we want to teach. It's June and July. I mean, our kids are just getting on the field for the first time. So I like the 7-on-7s when it's a controlled, slow moving 7-on-7, so we can actually coach and teach our kids what they need to learn.
Who are some of your biggest coaching inspirations, in the coaching world?
Obviously my father I've been watching him since I was little. And he really has taught me so much throughout the years on how to be a great head coach that has nothing to do with X's and O's. And I'm very fortunate that I have coached with and played for tons of amazing coaches in this area. Gary Zetz was on our coaching staff when I played at Hubbard. Mickey Sikora, I coached with at Camel. I learned a great amount from him. Kurt Kuntz was generous enough to hire me and then make me the defensive coordinator. He really helped me make a step forward in my coaching career by helping me become a coordinator. So there's just been so many guys that have really helped me out throughout the years. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to play for and coach with so many amazing coaches that have a name in this area.
Coach, before we let you go, we like to give every coach in the preview to the chance to, shout out their assistant staffs and all the people that help them make their program great. We know the coaches get the interviews, they get the limelight, but we also know that they have great help behind them. So I want to give you a chance to shout out all your assistants and your coaching staff.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you doing that. I definitely couldn't do that without these guys. Coach Bud McSooley has been an unbelievable help. He helped me when I was a defensive coordinator, and he's also helping our defense and offensive line this year. Mike Maeda is our defensive coordinator. He's done an amazing job with the defense, and we're progressing every year with trying to perfect the little things on defense. Coach Lou Mateo does our special teams. He does a great job with the weight room. He's my weight room guy. He puts in 24/7. He's here. Anything I ever need, he's here. Obviously, my dad, Jeff Bayuk. I've never seen a guy care more about kids when it comes to outside of football. If we need someone to get tutored, if we need someone to get picked up for school or for practice, he's always willing to do that for us. And, my middle school coaches I talked about, Coach Mike Mascola and John Pasquarella, they really helped me out in the middle school with all those things. And Coach Brad Clyde, that's our Brady Clyde, that's our center's father. He's always willing to do whatever we need, whether it's picking up lunches, cleaning clothes. He's always willing to help us out. I mean, we just have a great group of guys that really help us. And Rod Greenemeyer came over with my dad from JFK, who I would put him in the top 3 offensive line coaches in this area. He has just done an amazing job, and he actually coached me as well when I was at Hubbard when I played. So we have a great group of guys. It's just, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Definitely couldn't do this without those guys. So I appreciate you letting me give them a shout out.
Always, Coach. Thank you so much for giving us your time and helping us preview Struthers football. We look forward to covering it all season. We know that we're going to talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.